Canalys releases its State of the Channel report. Microsoft gets into the Silicon game. And malware as a service goes international. These stories and much more on today's episode of MSP Dispatch.
This episode is presented by OIT VoIP. Enhance your client's communication abilities with our VoIP solution, featuring integrated billing, on-demand training, and live US support. Collaborate seamlessly with Microsoft Teams integration and put your entire phone system in your pocket with Mobile X. Improve your offerings and increase profitability with reliable service for 1/10 of the average MSP acquisition cost. To learn more, visit oit.co or dial 844-CALL-OIT.
Good morning and welcome to the November 17th episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel. I'm Ray Orsini, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Tony Francisco. How you doing, Tony?
Excellent, brother. Just stopped doing caffeine a couple days ago, so I'm like, I'm here, but I'm not here. No, everything's going great. I love reading the stories of what's going on in our industry right now. It is everywhere, and I don't know what can we possibly report on today. So many questions.
So many questions, but we have some answers. And I think instead of doing the banter, I think we should just get right into the news. What do you say?
So much. Let's do it, man. Jumping straight into my first story from ChannelE2E.com, story by Jessica Davis. In the first Canalys Forum North America, recently held in Palm Springs, analysts shared key insights and predictions about the future of technology channel markets. Chief Analyst Robin Odie highlighted the MSP sector, revealing a substantial $190.6 billion revenue in 2022, reflecting an impressive 11.1% year-over-year growth. Notably, North American MSPs increased by 6.1%, with high performers managing more than 250 endpoints, adopting a $150 to $200 per user pricing and embracing a land and expand strategy. The panel emphasized vendor understanding, favoring flexibility over long contracts. Canalys CEO Steve Brazier cautioned on private equity risks and predicted additional U.S. channel growth by April 2024. This projection was based on identified megatrends, including generative AI, sustainability, with prediction that generative AI would seamlessly integrate into products, albeit with potential cybersecurity implications. Ray, let's unpack this just a little bit. All I hear is, hey, we're growing. We're going to continue to grow, and security risk. That's all I hear. That's all I hear. Talk to me. What are your thoughts?
It's like people are the problems almost. It's like we're learning this, right? It's not the job we do. The job would be super secure if we didn't have people involved. And I think I just heard 1,000 MSPs go, yes! So, no, look, yes, it's blowing up. MSPs rule the world, responsible for 95% of global commerce. Security is dangerous. We need more people in security. And
let's put AI in charge of everything. And we have not seen the movie Terminator. That's right.
Nothing goes wrong with that. Nothing goes wrong with that at all. I mean, hell, even Wall-E showed us, like, Terminator gets all the glory, right? But Wall-E's the one. It's the same thing. They were running us.
So another weird, this is an offshoot story that's similar, but very much outside of this. So Chuck E. Cheese, you're a Chuck E. Cheese, just removed all of their animatrix figures after the movie, was it not Weekend at Bernie's, but Weekend at Freddy's or something. Because basically AI went wrong, or did it? Something went evil. What I'm trying to say is that it can go wrong in multiple angles. It's going to start with chatbots. It's going to start with, hey, why did you auto renew my E3 license on Office 365, which is then going to go up to, hey, why did you automatically bill all my stuff to, hey, why are you shutting my company down because you anticipate a threat? What do you mean that humans are here and we're the threat? What did you see how I did that?
Yes. So I do wonder if some of this data is maybe a little outdated. Maybe it's a function of the MSPs we speak to on a regular basis. but saying a high performing MSP is over 250 endpoints, they're adopting $150, $200 per user pricing. I was 180 to 225, and I haven't been an MSP in 6 years.
I didn't want to say that, but let's think about maybe the channel is something that
definitely had more than 250 endpoints. Like
the endpoint part didn't make any sense because
like that's an average per you. Now, if that meant per tech, 250 per tech, I could see that. That's a good number.
So a small MSP averages 30 to 50 customers. And the average customer has 23 to 25 seats. If you just do statistical, just very and of each of those seats, you're looking at the endpoint as in laptop, workstation, somewhere in there.
Tablet.
It's 1.3, I think is now the 1.4, 1.3 equation for the workstation, meaning they could have a laptop, they could have a workstation edition, but not all of them do that. Then you have the tablet, then you have the phone, etc. So if you look at all those endpoints, that the numbers seemed a little bit off, but I'm just glad that resonated with you as well, because the moment I read it, I was like, maybe talk about the small.
It threw me off for a little bit. It definitely threw me off for a little bit. Not that I, honestly, I agree with the rest of the story. It's not like I don't. It's just I think some of those numbers were a little. Maybe
they're just not. This is where we become very this little snotty. They're just not talking about our audience. Hold on, let me. You see our audience is a little bit more mature than that. We're beyond that. We're the big guys. Hey, you know what though? Speaking of the big guys, it turns out that some of the big guys are starting to do some really, really cool stuff, and you are going to talk about it next.
I do have to talk about that. Tony, we're not just going big, we're going international. In my top story, Hunters International Cyberattackers take over Hive Ransomware, written by Jai Vijayan for Dark Reading. The dismantling of the Hive Ransomware group by the FBI earlier this year has not eliminated the threat, as evidence suggests the group's code has been passed to a new entity named Hunter International. Bitdefender's analysis reveals significant code overlaps, pointing to a strategic decision by Hive to cease operations and transfer its assets to Hunters. And unlike a rebranded Hive, the group focuses on data exfiltration for extortion instead of encryption. Hunter International's opportunistic attacks on organizations in the US, UK, Germany, and Namibia suggest that it's still establishing itself in the ransomware landscape. Notably, Martin Zugek from Bitdefender observes that logging in Hunter's malware suggests code adoption from an external source. Furthermore, Hive's decision to sell its malware reveals the challenges criminal groups face after successful takedowns, prompting them to opt for a risk-reducing trade-off in complex and resource-intensive processes. So, Tony, if you can come out of your lack of caffeine stupor for a minute and tell me, these malicious actors going after data exfiltration over data encryption, I think because they can extort, they can blackmail, makes sense to me. These malicious actors realizing they're better as a supply chain, supplying software to the malactors as opposed to doing it themselves, maybe keeps them away from the FBI's ire and other nations. What is there anything surprising here? What do you take away from this?
So we talked about this last week, and we talked about conceptually the bad guys decided, hey, rather than hitting the end customer, why don't we move up to the MSP? Rather than hit the MSP, why don't we move up to the software that all the MSPs use, consequently get to their customers? And you're continuing to move upstream. And so what we're seeing now is the MSP side of things has been very clear and apparent for, frankly, the last 18 months. We've been talking about this. But now we're talking about something completely different. And we mentioned it last week, where phishing as a service, which we so casually talked about, which is a platform designed to do something bad by the bad guys. This is exactly that. They are now moving upstream to a way that they can now syndicate these talents throughout the bad actors. They can almost formalize I'm just going through a conceptual process here. They can almost create a ceremonial certification at some point of the bad actors. So you have you got your CCIE, your CCNA, you got your Cisco certification. Well, here's your hacker, certified, and this one's done by X group and Y group and Z. So and here are the tools that we use, and here's how we use them, and here's the source code of that, and here's how we do the implementation of, and here are the different platforms that can help you facilitate that. I am very, very concerned at everything that we've been talking about is now building itself on building blocks at multiple angles outside of the traditional I was hacked. What are your thoughts on that? Give me your opinion. Am I going too far with this? Because I'm just looking ahead as far as I can.
No, I'm just waiting to see the PE version for bad actors.
Oh my!
I'm just waiting for that Thoma Bravo roll up to be like, we have the phishing platform, we have the encryption platform, we have I'm waiting for that. It's not going to be US based, I'm sure. But could you imagine somebody funding this? And I mean, you could absolutely see it as an investment, right?
Here I am going upstream. You have literally created an administrative corporate structure for the going upstream.
It is my superpower, sir. It is my superpower.
You're Tomo Bravo. I'm Tomo Bring You Down. No, I'm trying to.
Insight becomes no sight. It's
no
like
sight.
you know what I mean. And I apologize to both. Please don't send me cease and desist, Tony. Before I dig myself any further into the hole, we're gonna get our AI is getting stronger, better, faster. Tell us about it.
Yes. You are absolutely correct, Ray. In my second main story from ArsTechnica.com, at the Microsoft Ignite conference, Microsoft unveiled 2 custom chips, the Microsoft Azure Maya 100 AI accelerator and the Azure Cobalt 100 CPU, aimed at enhancing in-house AI workloads on Azure. Specifically designed for internal usage, Maya is optimized for running large language models like ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo and ChatGPT 4.0. It's boasting 105 billion transistors. On the other hand, Cobalt, a 128-core ARM-based CPU, is tailored for general computing tasks. While Microsoft hasn't released benchmarks yet, Wes McAuliffe, Microsoft Corporate VP of Hardware Product Development, emphasizes the chip's performance per watt ratios, especially for Cobalt, stating the architecture and implementation are designed with power efficiency in mind. So Ray, this is where we get into ASIC, application-specific integrated circuit. And now let's do an entire fleet of servers that are ASIC-based. Is this going to Is this going to throw gasoline on the fire of AI that we know it as of today?
I just feel bad for NVIDIA because when the Bitcoin mining craze started, late 2000s, when that started, all the GPUs were bought up because they were the best tools for Bitcoin mining. And then they went over to ASICs. And then previously for these LLMs, they were also using GPUs. The NVIDIA G100 or H100, was it H? Yeah, it was H100, was the love child, was the favorite for this. And it was the one that's getting picked up on eBay and everywhere else. So now Microsoft's like, you know what, we're going to build these. My only question is, I get Microsoft takes co-engineering credit for the Surface for building that hardware. I get they get co-design credit for building the some of the hardware that's in use in Azure today, because a lot of it is very custom. But this is the first time they ever design and engineer an entire chip on their own. This is not regardless of what Microsoft says, and I get they did co-design. They got co-design credits also for the Xbox. They didn't design the silicon for the Xbox, but they had a hand in saying what their needs were, aka everybody else that's also ordered hardware from any other manufacturing plant. So I question if this is going to be, nobody says, oh my gosh, you have a Surface Book. That is the best laptop ever, right? Even though it is very nice hardware, I question if this is just a stepping stone, because it's already under the Maya, right, which is going to be used for AI, it was something like 12,000 flirt or flops or whatever the hell you measure this in, less than NVIDIA's. There we go. NVIDIA has the H200 or AMD's M1300X, both of which already perform faster than the Maya chip. Yes, and the latter of the two is purpose-built for AI. The former is just a GPU. So I'm all for ASICs. I just wonder, you know how we've seen vendors that have like, you know, your garbage disposal now has AI, and you're like, but why? And it's because it's 2023 and everything needs to be AI. Like in 2017,
just made the value
everything
go up 20%.
needed to be HD, man. Everything needed to be IoT. Everything, yeah. So I wonder if this is meaningful. I get Microsoft made it, so it'll make its way into Azure. I get that. But AMD already has competitors. NVIDIA already has competitors. For everybody that is not Microsoft, I wonder if they'll care about this.
Well, maybe. Do you think this is just them trying to stay in the race, being active in that race? But again, we go back to the mistaking activity for productivity. It may not result in being very productive. However, maybe it is such a lucrative swim lane that they didn't anticipate, and they got their foot in the water. But it also could be a very saturated swim lane. And everything you're saying is pointing to the latter. But do you think they'll fade away from this? Do you think they'll say, hey, listen, maybe we should just make the laptop with the name and then buy the parts from everyone that's making the parts already?
Well, that's the question, right? The Surface became the Signature Series, right? And that's the gold standard for what a Microsoft laptop should be. All the Signature Series they sold in the stores didn't have the crapware. Personally, I think this is the beginning of Skynet, and this is how we get superpowered Clippy. But if you feel that way, let us know in the comments, let us know on Discord. But for now, Tony, give us some of those notables, man. In my first notable mention, the Microsoft November 2023 Patch Tuesday, fixing 50 days and 58 flaws, written by Lawrence Abrams for Bleeping Computer. Microsoft's November 2023 Patch Tuesday addresses 58 flaws, including one critical remote code execution, or RCE bug. Critical vulnerabilities include an Azure Information Disclosure bug, RCE in Windows Internet Connection Sharing, I'm really surprised that still exists, and a Hyper-V escape flaw. These flaws can be classified in various categories such as elevation of privilege, security feature bypass, RCE, information disclosure, denial of service, and spoofing. Notably, the update addresses 50 days with 3 actively being exploited, covering Windows Cloud Files, Mini Filter Driver Elevation of Privilege, and Windows DWM Core Library Elevation of Privilege. Additionally, publicly disclosed 0 days involve Windows Smart Screen Security Feature Bypass, Microsoft Office Security Feature Bypass, and ASP.NET Core Denial of Service. In my second notable mention, the FCC can now punish telecom providers for charging customers more for less. Written by Emma Roth for The Verge. The Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, has approved rules to combat digital discrimination within the framework of the Biden administration's 2021 Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. The FCC, under the 2021 Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, now has the authority to impose penalties on telecom providers engaging in unequal service tied to income, race, or religion. Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel emphasized the correlation between minority status, income, and broadband access, empowering the FCC to impose fines when companies fail to adequately justify unequal connectivity. Critics label it an overextension of the FCC's power, while advocates see it as a crucial step to rectify broadband disparities, especially in areas monopolized by a single high-speed internet provider.
In my first notable mention from SonicWall.com. SonicWall has acquired Solutions Granted Inc., that's SGI, a leading managed security service provider, the MSSP, specializing in cybersecurity solutions for managed service providers. This strategic move expands SonicWall's portfolio to include US-based Security Operations Center services, that's SOC as a service, managed detection and response, MDR, and other managed services tailored for MSPs and MSSPs. SonicWall CEO Bob Van Kirk emphasizes the critical need of managed detection and response services, providing partners with affordable and effective threat defense solutions. This integration solidifies SonicWall's commitment to a comprehensive portfolio, streamlining security management for partners and fostering accelerated growth in the cybersecurity domain. In my next notable mention from bleepingcomputer.com, LockBit Ransomware has exposed over 43 gigabytes of data stolen from Boeing. The gang had warned Boeing about the public release of data, and after the company refused to pay the ransom, the hackers followed through on their threat. The leaked files, posted on November 10th, include backups for various systems, with the most recent dated October 22nd. Despite Boeing's acknowledgement of the cyber attack, details about the breach remain undisclosed. LockBit, a resilient ransomware as a service operation, active for over 4 years, has targeted numerous organizations globally, extorting approximately $91 million US since 2020.
OpenAI has expanded the capabilities of ChatGPT with the advent of MyGPTs, allowing you to create your own version of ChatGPT. Okay, so first up, what are MyGPTs? MyGPTs are custom versions of ChatGPT that users can tailor for specific tasks or topics. This feature allows for combining instructions, knowledge, and capabilities, making the GPTs as simple or as complex as needed. They can address a wide range of applications from language learning to technical support. For instance, you can create a GPT to learn the rules of any board game, teach kids math, or design stickers. And this feature is available to ChatGPT Plus and Enterprise subscribers, and users can design these chatbots by simply telling the GPT builder what they want. Creating a GPT is really easy, and it does not require any coding skills, so it makes this feature pretty much accessible to anyone. For those with coding knowledge, though, there is an additional layer of customization available. This includes coding actions that connect GPTs to external data or services, offering a higher degree of personalization and functionality. You can start making your own GPT just by interacting with the GPT builder within ChatGPT. Here you add your instructions, you can upload files, you can select its capabilities, such as web searching, image creation, or data analysis. And the range of GPTs is quite broad, encompassing categories like productivity, education, and entertainment. And they can be tailored to address either niche needs or everyday tasks.
In our feedback from the YouTubes, good episode, guys. You guys rock. No, sir, you rock. Goes on to say, you missed the most important Windows 11 2023 update. Microsoft finally listened to 2 years of deafening user outrage and added back in the ability for users to ungroup their taskbar items. I will say that is a giant win, and you're right. That deserves notable mention. Thanks so much for bringing it up, Vic and Hugh.
There are plenty of amazing upcoming events taking place across the community, so let's see what's happening this week. Later today at noon Eastern Time, Channel Engage Cybersecurity presented by Channel Program. And then next week on Tuesday the 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Augment and ScalePad Integration Explained. And also on the 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, CyberWise Employees How to Stay Safe Online presented by Fin Security. And coming from the MSP Media Network this week, we have later today at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, MSP Community Live. And then first thing on Monday next week at 10 a.m. Eastern, AI Roundup. And then on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Wins and Losses will be back for another important episode before the Thanksgiving holiday hits.
So how'd you like today's episode? If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. And if you didn't, go ahead and hit it 3, 5, 7 times. You know the deal. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on the YouTubes or your favorite podcatcher. Did you know we also have a Discord where we post stories all week? You can propose your own stories and even vote on which ones we'll cover. As my friend Rich Mankey says, make sure to tell a friend. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at MSP Media TV. Have any questions? Email news@mspmedia.tv for answers on the next episode, or leave us a voicemail, 833 MSP Network. Tony, bad guys are bad, but we have ASICs that are good, although they might not be as good as the ASICs from AMD, but go team! Or we're all investing in malware.
What are the stock options on malware? I mean, how does the cap table look for a malware PE firm?
I bet that run rate's pretty damn sweet, because I imagine that it's SaaS. You build one and done, right? Like that is.
But it's, and then you got to get in there. And then Gone.
Well,
New PE firm.
Well, and then think like, all the professional services upsell you can do. And then you have maintenance contracts. So you get like the new 0 days and the new, okay, we are making this way too easy for any enterprising young bad person. So we're going to stop now. And I'm going to say, Tony, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Before Toma Bravo and Insight send us cease and desist letters. And I will say thank you, sir, for a wonderfully enlightening episode.
Thank you. I'm going to go have some coffee, maybe. No, I won't. I'm going to go for 2 more days.
Coffee.
2 more days. 2 more days. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm totally not going to do it. Hey.
You're going to be so nasty on Thanksgiving.
I'm mean. I'm being mean. You guys, everyone, take care of yourself. Be safe. Stay updated.
Take care of yourselves and each other, everybody. Bye.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.
Hunter International's opportunistic attacks on organizations in the US, UK, Germany, and Namibia suggest, did I say Germana?
Wow. I said Germia.
Germia. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and restart that paragraph. Okay. Hunter. That got real difficult real fast. Hold on. That is not surprising to me in the least bit. Is that surprising to you? Are you muted?
Muted.
So I'm sitting there and my ear, like I'm wearing earbuds and I didn't hear it. And I'm like, oh, did they die? So I'm checking the speakers.
Okay, you got me.
It's
caffeine. It's the caffeine. Okay.
All right,
one more
all
time.
right.
Ready?
All right.